We're back and with another challenge, and today's challenge is the Titleist T100 iron, the new iron released this August versus the Ping i230. Remember, if you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button and tell all your golfing friends. So Ping are gonna hate me for saying this, but Ping aren't necessarily known for their players iron. They're known for their G430 range, the old school G425 and the G25 range, that kind of game improvement iron. So sometimes their eye range goes under the radar. So we're going to put it to the test today. I've got the i230. It's a really solid looking iron. It sometimes gets missed in the bay because of that, you know, guys that necessarily want to play off 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single figures where this iron's aimed at, kind of don't even think about putting Ping in the testing bay. So we're going to make sure that it gets out there today and it gets put to the test against this iron, which is unfortunately another little unnoticed gem this year. It's kind of with the launch of T150, T100 has really kind of been sort of the poor relation, if you like. No one's really gone into it. Everyone's kind of wants that extra bit of forgiveness, with the T150 gives. So T100, i230, two irons that are kind of left in the drawer now and again. Let's put them to the test on Trackman and see how they perform. So here we go, we're back in the Milton Keynes fitting bay, one of my favourite fitting bays that we have. It's lovely and generous, so it's wide like the fairways that I'm going to need when I'm going to hit these irons. So T100 versus i230. On first look, two small heads. I would say i230 is a little bit bigger, a little bit more forgiving, but two very small heads. I've put the Nippon motor shaft in the stiff. I've put it in the 105 stiff for a bit of a change up this week, and I'm using the Left Dash Pro V1 golf ball. So let's get into it. Let's see what these Trackman numbers say. I think we'll start with the i230. Like I said, this is an iron that Ping, it's not a big seller for Ping. They might write in and tell us differently, but something that we see is that we don't sell a lot of this iron. You'll tend to see a player want to go, maybe it's going against irons in the range of maybe a Mizuno forged, a Titleist forged, the Cobra forged. Ping sometimes just gets that reputation of being just a game improvement iron, but it is a really good iron, and we want to put it to the test, don't we? We want to see what the numbers say, so it's all about seeing something a bit different. So let's hit some shots and get some numbers. We're not going to learn a lot from that one, so really thin. What we could probably say is that it was forgiving, but I mean, I missed the fairway with the 7 irons, which is not overly pretty. So let's decent ball speed, good carry, 172. So I've said this before in many videos when I'm hitting 7 irons. It's kind of my standard carry, 172, 175 with a 7 iron. So nothing exciting, but what it does mean is that you shouldn't be afraid of putting this iron to the test. You shouldn't be afraid of putting this iron in the bay when you're looking for a new set of this type of single figure handicap iron and having a go with it. That was a better strike. It feels very firm. What I would say is it feels very solid off the club face. Not necessarily a preference of mine. I'd prefer a softer feel. Ball speed's very good there, 124, but carry again, 172. The highlight of this iron so far is how quickly it comes down and stops on the green. No silly cranked lofts, no silly launch pad irons. This is a good, solid, well-built iron that does what it says on the tin. And I think for a player in that single figure handicap category that really wants an iron that can just perform and be consistent, and that's the one thing I would say about a Ping iron all the time, is it is super consistent. It's solid, it's no frills, it's just quality all over. So from a looks perspective, I'm struggling a little bit with the squareness of the toe end. It looks quite square to me. It looks quite long as well, so I think I can see how that could give a little bit of this perception of forgiveness. Frames the ball quite nicely. Well, as we talk about the toe, I thought I'd just use it, which is good. Yeah. Okay. Use it again, just making sure we find that toe. We don't want to sort of see all the good ones out the middle, do we? That'd be boring for you. So 162, 10-yard drop off with an absolutely dreadful strike. Let's try and find that middle now. That was a better strike. 1676 carry. So overall, just a solid iron. You know, it is just ping all over the i230. It is good looking, classic, clean, works. Just does everything it says on the tin. So let's go straight into the T100. Like I said, it feels like the T100 this year is the poor relation to the T150. I'm sure Titleist won't like me saying that, but I'm sure their sales numbers will back that up. Everyone who is maybe used to play T100 and has looked to that type of iron versus the T200 in the past has kind of just morphed into the T150 guy. He's a little bit more forgiving, a little bit easier to hit, same feel, so why would you sort of sacrifice and want something hard? So this is going to be an interesting one. It looks smaller, it does look smaller than the i230, I will say. Again, classic Titleist look, you know, chrome, frames the golf ball well. The top edge looks really thin and lean. Let's see what this does. Wow, that felt so good. So solid. So solid. Like ridiculous. Why are people not hitting this? And that's probably why. So there you go, one that's come right out the bottom. But what I would say, that was like a really 7 out of 10 strike. See how the carry's still up at 167, so it really hasn't dropped off as much. Interesting. Couple more. That's jumped, that one. That was powerful. 185. That was really powerful. Okay, so overall, again, feels good, feels like a Titleist, looks like a Titleist, plays like a Titleist. I would say it's not as necessarily, didn't feel as forgiving as i230, looks a little bit smaller in the head, silly powerful iron. I can see why people would go to T150 over T100, but it is a classic Titleist iron and a brilliant product. So let's dive in, let's have a little look at these numbers in a little bit more detail and see if we can pick a favourite there. So let's look at these numbers. So what have we got? We've got dispersion. So I'm going to bring that up. Whoa, okay, so a couple of big highlight points. There is the 7 out of 10 with the T100. It's long, isn't it? T100's long. So looking at the numbers overall, if we go as an average, it's 5 miles an hour ball speed quicker than the Ping i230. It's 8 yards longer. And it's landing steeper. I mean, it's so far ahead in terms of performance that it's really difficult to compare. Spin rates are the same, total yardage is good, but the ball speed off of that iron is just superb, absolutely superb. I can see where 230 works in the market though. If you've got someone with super amount of speed that doesn't want a jumper, that doesn't want, they just want solid control, then I would say definitely i230, sorry, is definitely the iron. So let's let's go through this and let's talk about these two irons in terms of feel and look. Remember, this is completely subjective, isn't it? We say this in every video. In look terms, it's a real hard one for me because I think the perception of the bigger head of the 230 gives me a bit more confidence, but I prefer the finish of the Titleist. That's just a personal thing. I prefer the kind of chrome shiny finish. So I'm gonna give it a tie. I'm not gonna pick one on that because I think it kind of one foot in each camp. So in terms of look, it's gonna be 50-50. So let's call it 1-1. In terms of feel, it's tough because this 230 again they're two very different feels, right? T100 feels really, really soft. i230 feels firm and solid. There's two different feels. I think as a player, if I'm the guy coming in and getting fitted, and you're asking me to choose which one, the performance the same, which ones do I want to buy based on feel, I think I'm always going to urge towards the side of the Titleist. So let's call it 2-1. Price. Neither of these things are cheap. So T100 is a little bit more expensive than i230, so you could probably save yourself £100–150-ish if you were looking here versus here. So there is a little price, but there's not in this kind of market, there's not a huge difference. So we're going to have to give it to i230 in terms of price, but there's not a huge difference. So let's call it 2-2. Custom options. Well, this is a difficult one for us because Ping don't let anyone build their irons apart from Ping. So they are the leaders of custom fit. They shout about that and always will do and always have done. And they do an unbelievable job of building clubs, delivering clubs, getting them on time. Their customer service is second to none. Their shaft options are better and better every year. However, from a personal point of view, we build Titleist. So we have the options to put what we want. So if you were just getting them from the suppliers, then I would say it's probably a tie. Both have good options, both give good service, and so on and so forth. However, I'm going to just go and give it to our friends at Titleist because working with them in terms of their head-only program, in terms of their component program, it gives us so many options for our guys in the fitting bays to put different shafts in, different combinations, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to give it to Titleist, and let's call that 3-2. In overall performance, well, I don't think Trackman lies. I don't think the numbers lie. The ball speed's far superior off T100. The land angles similar, if not slightly better, with T100. The carry distance with T100 is better, about a club longer. We can argue over lofts and we can argue over which one's cranked and which one's not, but at the end of the day, if you walk in and just hit these two 7-irons and you hit them on Trackman and you're looking for an iron that gives you maximum feel, maximum performance, and these are the only two options, and money wasn't a worry, then I'd probably be saying T100 wins on performance. So hands down, I think today, this challenge between the T100 and the Ping i230, I'd be edging on the T100. So there we go, guys. There finishes or ends another challenge. Two irons that are very popular, two brands that are very popular in our studios. Our fitters love both of these brands, and Ping, I think this year has probably been our most popular brand, which is fantastic. But the T100 just coming out on top for us today. Remember, if you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button, share our content with all your golf friends. We really want to get those subscribers up so we can keep sharing more and more content. We've got some brilliant stuff coming in 2024 as well. If you like and you want to see any of our reviews, if you want to see, if you want us to review anything in particular, or you want us to do any comparisons for you specific, we are happy to do that. Just make sure you make a note in that comments box. Lots more reviews coming up, lots more challenges coming up. So if you enjoy that, thanks very much for watching, and tell all your golfing friends.